So our next set of discussions would be on the next two articles, article number 25 and 26, which is about the right to freedom of religion, as you can see on the screen here. Now that you have understood about equality, about freedom, and also right against exploitation, and religion is actually a very you would say, conflicting issue, contradictory issue, and somehow or the other things keep on happening in the name of religion. But what are the rights that the Constitution of India guarantee to you in the name of religion? That is what we are supposed to see here. It covers actually 4 rights, 25, 26, 27 and 28. But for this particular lecture, we'll cover 25 and 26 and the other two in the next one. Let's read this. The first thing that it says that freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. So there are certain keywords that you can notice here. One is your conscience, another is profession, practice and propagation of religion. Now it has multiple clauses. Let's see clause by clause. The first thing that is covered here is that subject to public order, morality and health. Now notice here, what are the conditions that they have given you in the Constitution? Public order, morality, health. And fourth provision, apart from these three, fourth provision is other provisions of this part. This part means part 3, which covers fundamental rights. So there are basically 4 provisions that are kind of reasonable restrictions in the name of religion that is given to you. So subject to these conditions of public order, morality, health and other provisions of fundamental rights, all persons. So again, this article, this right is available to all the persons, are equally entitled to freedom of conscience and right freely to profess, practice and propagate. So let us now understand the meaning of these 4 keywords as you are getting. Now when we talk about conscience, आपको पता ही है कि जब हम conscience की बात करते हैं तो conscience क्या होता है? Ethics में आपने सुना होगा. It is about what is your inner voice. So let's say this we can say inner voice. So whatever your inner voice dictates about the freedom or the relationship that you would want to have with that Almighty, whatever power you believe in, whatever superpower you believe in, if at all you believe, okay, so that freedom of conscience is what you're getting. If you don't want to believe in any power, that is also absolutely okay and allowed here. And then it is free profession. Profess karna, what is the meaning of professing a religion? It means that you are declaring your religious beliefs and also you are openly, freely expressing it. So profession here in this case would be about the freely expression or declaration of your religious beliefs. Now practicing, now remember here, so it will be about talking freely about your beliefs. What are your religious beliefs? What are the doctrines, religious doctrines that you believe in? When you talk about practice, it would mean about those rituals, etc., which you perform. So here the religious practices are covered under this, and here the religious belief is covered under this. So if in prelims they ask you that this article, does it cover both religious belief and religious practices? Yes, because belief would cover under this and practices to hai, like rituals, etc. And then you have the propagation of religion. Now what is this propagation? Which means to propagate, which means you are trying to transmit the information of your religious belief to others, right? But you have to remember there will be no forceful conversion permitted in this. That is not going to be permitted. You can propagate, you can just let others know about your religious belief. Till that point of time it is okay. So these are the 4 keywords that you have to remember. Second thing that you have to remember is that all persons are covered under this. Third thing that you have to remember is that what are the conditions which are put under this. So public order, morality, health and other provisions of this part. Okay, these 3 information you have got from first clause of article number 25. Moving on, in the second clause it is telling nothing in this article shall affect the operation of any existing law which means if any law is existing or the state is making any law. So that is allowed. Now what kind of a law they are talking about? The law they are talking about can regulate or restrict any economic, financial, political or other secular activity which may be associated with religious practice. So even though the individual has the freedom to practice and propagate etc. in their own way, there are permissions given to the state to make a law or continue with an existing law to regulate or restrict any kind of these activities, economic, financial, political or secular activity, which are associated with the religious practices. Another thing, the lawmaking is also allowed providing for social welfare and reform or throwing open of Hindu religious institutions of a public character to all classes and sections of Hindus. So firstly they are talking about social welfare and reform. तो अगर ये करने के लिए स्टेट इंटरवीन करता है तो इट इज़ अलाउड. उसके अलावा ऑफकोर्स इंटरवेंशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ लॉ मेकिंग हियर, और जो हिंदू रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनको ओपन करना, तो ओपन इट फॉर all the classes and sections of Hindus. Now there is an explanation given here. First this explanation we will see because it is about subclause B of clause 2. So यहाँ जो Hindu term है, here the reference of Hindus which they are using, it shall be construed as including a reference to persons professing Sikh, Jain or Buddhist religion also. So you have to remember that the term Hindu here would include the people who are practicing Sikhism, Jainism or Buddhism also. Okay. Another explanation, and you can see these two explanations are directly given in the constitution, so need not be confused with this. Another explanation which they give is that the wearing and carrying of kirpans shall be deemed to be included in the profession of the Sikh religion. तो सिक्स के लिए ये कंडीशन जो है वो ऑलरेडी अलाउड है, ठीक है. इट शुड बी इंक्लूडेड इन द प्रोफेशन और इट इज़ कंसिडर्ड टू बी इंक्लूडेड इन द प्रोफेशन एंड दैट इज़ गिवन एज एन एक्सप्लेनेशन. Okay, so this is article number 25, which gives the idea that what are the rights which are available with the individuals, and that includes all persons, citizens and non-citizens. Okay, now apart from the individuals, do we have rights related to religion given to groupings also? So let us now see here. So the religious denomination or any section, so any grouping, so religious denomination would be like within a major religion you have several sects and denomination, like they have different belief system, but overall the religion remains same. So several groups, and the section also refers to the group. So basically you have to remember that article 25 was the individual right given with respect to religion. Article 26 is the collective right given, collective right to the groups with respect to religion. So यहाँ पे भी आपको certain conditions दी गई है, and it is talking about the freedom to manage the religious affairs. 25 was talking about how can you practice, profess, etc. and what your conscience say about any kind of religion that you would want to go ahead with. So here it is about religious groups denomination, and in this case it is the collective freedom of religion. Now here also you see certain conditions: public order, morality, health. So if you notice, here also you have public order, morality and health, but here you have another condition also, which is other provisions of part 3. So 25 had 4 conditions. Article 25 had 4 conditions: public order, morality, health and any other provision of part 3. But if you notice in 26, only 3 conditions are here. There is no mention about any other provision of part 3. So subject to these, every religious denomination or section thereof shall have the right. So what are the rights with these religious groups? How are they allowed to manage their religious affairs? They can establish and maintain the institutions for the religious and the charitable purposes. This is allowed to them. कि अगर उनको कोई चैरिटी करनी है या कोई भी रिलीजियस पर्पस के लिए वो कुछ भी इंस्टीट्यूशन खोलना चाहें, they can do. They can also manage their own affairs in the matters of religion in whatever way they want to. They can manage their own affairs in this. They can own and acquire the movable and the immovable property. So movable property, anything which is allowed to be moved, like money, etc. And immovable, if there is, let's say, land or some building, etc. So they can own and acquire and administer such property in accordance with the law. So meanwhile they are following the law, they can administer whatever property they will have. So as a group also it is allowed here, right? This is what you have to remember very, very clearly. Also, there is certain explanations about this article. So now we'll go to the notes, because I have given you all the constitutional details of articles 25, 26. So just for the sake of revision and how do we have written in the new notes, we'll just quickly do it. So firstly, you understand that this freedom covers both religious beliefs and the practices. I have given you religious beliefs would be under your profession, the doctrines, and practices जो आपके rituals हो जाएंगे, ठीक है. Then you have the meaning of the 4 terms, the same thing that we have discussed. Conscience will be what your inner freedom is telling you, what kind of a relation you want to have with the Almighty. Profession would be that you are declaring your belief, your doctrine very openly to the people, that okay, this is my belief system in this religion. But practicing is doing the worship or the rituals, anything, the ceremonies related to that particular belief system. And propagate is that you are transmitting and disseminating your religious belief to others. And you are not getting into the forcible conversions. You're not asking any other person to get forcibly convert into your religion. That is not allowed. It's just propagate. You are just transmitting your ideas about it. But there are certain conditions: public order, morality, health, and other provisions of fundamental rights. And this is what we have seen, that these 3 are also there in Article 26, but this is not in Article 26. And this article guarantees the rights of the individual. Now the state is also permitted, these extra conditions जो हमने clause 2 में पढ़ा था, and the 2 explanations that we have already done. Now 26 में you have understood about that the religious denomination or any grouping gets all of these 4 rights which we have just seen here. The same thing is written there. So they get these rights, and therefore here it is the collective freedom of the religion which is assured by article number 26. However, you also have to remember the Supreme Court has said that, how will you determine that a particular entity is a religious denomination? So Supreme Court has made sure that if a religious denomination satisfies 3 conditions, in that case they will be considered as religious denomination. The first condition should be that it should be a collection of individuals. So the individual should connect together and they should share a belief system, or they should have a common doctrine system wherein they will regard it as conducive to their spiritual well-being. So they will say that whatever belief or doctrine they are having, those individuals, that is common to them, and that belief or doctrine should be considered as conducive by them. Conducive means suitable by them to their spiritual well-being. Then it should be a common organization, very obvious, and it should be designated by a distinct name. So the name different should be there, distinct name should be there. Also, continuing with the same idea of these 3 conditions, Supreme Court also said that Ramakrishna Mission, जो आपने सुना होगा RK Mission, and Anand Marg, they are the religious denomination within Hindu religion as they fulfill these criteria. However, Aurobindo Society is not a religious denomination. Okay, so these are the details for Article 25 and 26. In the next class, we'll cover Articles 27 and 28, and then we'll finish the religion part, and then we'll move on to the other topic. So thank you so much guys. Take care till then. Bye bye.